Yeah, Anzalone with a full practice today.
Anzalone
And Khalif Raymond.
How about that?
Love to hear that.
We got a picture from Anzalone in practice as well. We'll get that up there too. But yeah, Detroit Lions getting there. It's not official. All right, but he's playing this week.
I think he's going to play too.
Here's a photo of him at practice.
Does he have the Megatron arm like Ray Lewis?
You ruined it.
He has spoiled it.
He's been tanning a lot.
He's been tanning very much. Had a great time in his few weeks off. Makes sense. Go be in warm weather.
That was so sweet.
Yeah. The reason why I have a feeling he's playing, this is actually supposed to be the segment after. We just do it right now. All right, so Dan Campbell was asked about today in his radio interview, and he just wouldn't give a straight up answer. Gamesmanship. He's playing. Mm-hmm. The other thing, too, is like we were kind of told already he'd be back around this time regardless.
Yes.
The other thing, too, is he's a one tough son of a bitch.
Yes, he is.
All right, he is. This regime only brings in guys that love the sport of football. Alex Anzalone loves the fucking sport of football. This is a game that you dream of. This is a game, as Dan Campbell said it last week. Mm-hmm. We dreamed of this situation. Playing for the number one seed. This only happened 2 other times in NFL history. I think both times with the Cowboys, and now you see it with the Detroit Lions. The first time in NFL history happening to 2 14-plus win teams. For the number one, not just the division, the number one seed. You think the captain, El Capitan, Alex Anzalone, not going to be in this game? He absolutely will.
Absolutely.
And I think it makes the biggest impact for Detroit Lions, I think, in the run game, for goddamn sure, because he's been part of that great run defense we've had historically for the past, 3 years. Mm-hmm. And also, yes, in the pass game a little bit, too. I think some of that is going to fall on the DBs regardless. But just able to stop the run is going to force them to throw all game, which we're accustomed to, and that's going to bring all-pro Kirby Joseph opportunities to catch that ball too.
Yeah, I think with his leadership and in the amount of games that he's played, when you see stuff like that happened in the San Francisco game where they were doing these bump routes, these drag routes, these stuff across the middle, and the pass-offs between the defensive backs and the linebackers were consistently failing. That's why you had Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle with nobody around them a lot. Anzalone's going to help in that. He's going to be better communicating on passing off guys to who when they come across the middle. So he's going to help in that a lot. So this is extremely, extremely good news to hear that he had a full practice today. Khalif Raymond with 2 full practices so far this week. You love to see that because the Lions are going to need help. Like, this isn't going to be a cakewalk. His Vikings team is good. So you're going to need all the guys you got back. I fully expect the Lions to win this game, and I'm expecting Anzalone to play. And, dude, that is such a good thing to say. Because we needed him. You tell the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
They've been getting eaten alive by running backs and tight ends over the middle of the field. And Anzalone is one of the best cover linebackers in the NFL.
Absolutely. And he's back at his natural position, too.
Yes.
Last year was asked to play that middle linebacker spot because Jack Campbell's still coming to his own. Well, now Jack Campbell's into his own and playing fairly well, more than well. He's top 10 linebacker in the game right now. And then Alex Anzalone, one of the best coverage linebackers. I just think the run fit in itself, too, just the intensity he brings. Like, he got hurt on making a play.
Yeah.
He's
his arm snapped, and he's just like, yeah, it's broken.
Yeah, he's like, fuck.
Broken, fuck. Well, see you later. Walked off the field.
Yeah.
Guy's a fucking lunatic,
He's a beast.
dude. Yeah. And like Terry Foster always says, a couple important components for a good defense. Number 1 is a guy with a big ass in the middle. You got DJ Reader. And number 2 is a white linebacker with long blonde hair. Those Terry Foster's components to a great defense. And we got our linebacker coming back.
We got it cooking. No, you just brought up the point that I wanted to bring up was that it was a broken arm injury. It's not something that you can expect rust from. Like, I expect him to fully come back and be able to jump right into things. Mm-hmm. This wasn't, a knee injury or a leg injury, back injury where he's still, got to get a little bit mobility. He's almost there or anything like that. This is going to be an injury that he can come back from, plug and play. He's been in the system for years, so this is a huge, huge acquisition for the Lions going forward. This is what you need because that defense last week, that first half in particular, did not look like a sustainable Super Bowl winning defense. I think with the return of Anzo, you can get to there. I think that's how important he is, that he alone can get you back to good enough defensively.
Yeah, and I think it starts with just making other teams one-dimensional. That's why I think he's so much help in the run game a little bit too, and just the passing defense, just the way the defense works in general. Like you said, Chris, he's been here 3 years. You're talking about a defense that, like, ask other guys to pick up situations on these blitzes that they're not really comfortable with. I think you all remember the first 2 years. It was kind of ugly, and Dan Campbell repeatedly said guys aren't just trusting their teammates to do the responsibility. Well, Anzel's been in this system for multiple years now. He knows it can work to its best when it's at its best, and he's going to follow suit. He's going to play his role, and I think we'll have a little bit of an impact. I'm thinking more so, like you said, the intermediate game, and for me, the run game, I think is where I'm most excited to have him back. What about you, Chase?
For Anzalone, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I really like Jack Campbell, and I thought he's played really well. I think we've noticed the difference, though, in his game without Anzalone. I don't think he's quite ready to take over in the way that maybe people were expecting him, and someone like myself was maybe expecting to this season. So really excited to have him back. Even if he doesn't come back this game against Minnesota, to have him for the playoffs is going to be huge.
I think the most important part with Anzalone in the run game are those outside zones runs, those stretch runs to the outside. How many times did we see Anzalone making tackles in the backfield, getting out there, getting tackles for loss against different players in those outside zone runs? So he is an extremely intelligent football player. He's an extremely fast sideline to sideline guy. He picks up on reads very quickly, and he gets to the ball very quickly. So that is something that's going to be huge, because we know Aaron Jones can gash you on those kinds of runs, outside, out of the tackles, on the sideline, different things like that. Aaron Jones is very good at picking those up. So having Anzalone back, if he does come back, which he had a full practice today, which is why we're talking about it, it's very promising, that would be a huge factor in this game.
Yeah, I guess technically we all are operating on speculation.
Yeah, we don't know if he's coming back yet, but it was good that he practiced in full today.
We've seen this happen both with Germ, and we saw this happen with Iffy previously too. And speaking of those two specifically, Ifantu Melifonwu, we're not able to get a pass rush right now. Anzalone also pretty damn good at getting sacks.
Yes.
When you decide to blitz him.
I was going to talk about another injury that could possibly affect this defense that I don't think anyone's really touched on this week at all leading up to the Vikings game. Christian Darrisaw lost for the season for the Vikings. I think the following week after we beat them when they played short week against the Rams. I mean, we'll see how their protection schemes, line up against our defensive line and everything. It's just another player that the Lions...
It's been pretty piss poor.
Yeah, I mean, it's another player the Lions don't have to go up against one-on-one with our somewhat depleted defensive line with all of our injuries. We don't have our number one guy in Hutch. They don't have their number one guy in Darrisaw now.
And shout out to the Super Chats in the Woodward Sports Chat. You got new money in there saying JMO going for 200 Sunday. They're definitely going to target him. And then no one says Lions anal zone greater than any other team's no-fly zone. I agree. Having anal zone back would be huge. Again, we don't know. It is still not decided whether he's going to play or not this week. But he had a full practice today, and that is a very, very good news. Thomas Rotundi said, yes, please no more Ezekiel Turner. I think, Ezekiel Turner will be good for spot plays here and there, spot duty, but when he's out there for an extended period of time, team's keen on that, and they kind of attack him.
Yeah, I shout to One Bar again. We had him on Tuesday. And then I was on his show earlier today, and he once again iterated that offensive line isn't really operating as well as they'd like it to. So I think Detroit Lions definitely take advantage of that one. At least they should be able to, right? But we know we're kind of suffering in the pass rush. But again, the way we make up for those are those blitzes. If he's been getting through, he applied pressure on Purdy last week.
Yeah, he did.
And now you got Anzalone back, who had 3 sacks last season. I think he had a couple this year, even before the injury.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, he's definitely a great blitzer. And,
he had 1 sack
like
this year.
that keys in on that, what I was talking about, him being a very smart player.
Yeah.
He knows when to blitz. He knows when to do one of those little delayed stutter blitzes. He knows when to close in on the quarterback when he's kind of panicking back there in the pocket when he doesn't have his open reads. So having he's your captain for a reason. Yeah. Like he is an extremely important player on this defense. So
he's been with AG since New Orleans.
Yeah, he's been with AG for a while. He's very familiar with the scheme. So if he can come back, if he's ready to go against the Vikings, that would be huge.